You always want to start your day with a bowl of what should be creamy, amazing oatmeal, but instead, you get this: a gloppy, chewy, and, let's be honest, a disappointing mess. Does this sad bowl look a little too familiar? It's probably not your fault. It's likely just a few common mistakes that are secretly sabotaging your breakfast. We've all been told that making oatmeal is as easy as adding liquid and heat. But there's a little more to it than that. That perfect bowl of oatmeal, the one that's velvety, rich, and genuinely satisfying, is actually a science. And today, we're going to break down the biggest oatmeal mistakes, explain why they happen, and give you the simple fixes to guarantee a perfect bowl every single time. Your breakfast is about to get a serious upgrade. Number 1. Liquid-to-oat ratio. The number one reason your oatmeal fails? It almost always comes down to the liquid-to-oat ratio. This is what separates a creamy dream from a soupy nightmare or a paste you could spackle a wall with. So many of us just eyeball it, pouring in some oats and then some liquid until it looks right. But looking right at the start is a trap. Oats are like little sponges, and different types of oats absorb liquid at very different rates. So, let's break down the golden ratios. First up, for the most common type, old-fashioned or rolled oats, the stovetop requires a 2.1 ratio of liquid to oats. That means for every half cup of oats, you need 1 full cup of liquid. A good amount of liquid evaporates as steam on the stove, so this ratio leaves you with that perfect creamy, not too thick consistency. But if you use that same 2.1 ratio in the microwave, you might get a soupy mess. In the microwave, less liquid evaporates. For microwaved rolled oats, a 1.5.1 ratio can work better, though the 2.1 ratio is still fine if you let it sit for a minute after cooking to absorb the rest. Now, for the king of chewy texture, steel-cut oats. These are a whole different animal. Because they're denser, they need way more liquid and a longer cooking time. Using a 2:1 ratio here will get you a crunchy, undercooked disaster. For steel-cut oats, you need a 3.1 or even a 4.1 ratio of liquid to oats. So for a quarter cup of steel-cut oats, use at least 3/4 of a cup to a full cup of liquid. Finally, there are instant or quick oats. They're rolled super thin, so they cook in a flash, and they generally follow the same 2.1 ratio as rolled oats. But because they absorb liquids so fast, overcooking them by even a minute can turn them into mush. The solution is simple. Measure. Use a measuring cup. It takes 10 extra seconds, but it's the single most important thing you can do to stop guessing and start getting a consistently perfect bowl of oatmeal every morning. Number 2, wrong liquid. So you've mastered the ratios, but your oatmeal is still sticky, gluey. It has a sliminess that's a million miles away from the creamy bowl you want. This is a classic sign about your liquid strategy. It seems logical to use all milk for a creamy result, right? But science doesn't quite work that way. Like when you cook oats in 100% milk from the start, the milk's sugars and proteins can create that sticky, almost glue-like texture as it cooks down. It's a common trap that leads to a heavy porridge, not a light and creamy one. Here's the pro chef's secret: a 2-part approach. First, cook your oats in water. Water is neutral and perfect for hydrating the grains. Bring the water and oats to a simmer and cook them until most of the water is absorbed. Then, and only then, do you add the milk. By stirring in milk for the last few minutes, you get all the creamy flavor without the gluey side effects. Many chefs recommend a 1.1 ratio of water to milk for this. And if you really want to level up, try this. Toast your oats before any liquid hits the pan. Just melt a little butter in your pot, toast the dry oats for about 5 minutes until they smell nutty, then add your liquid. It brings out this deep flavor and helps the grains hold their texture. Number 3. Important ingredient. You've got your ratios right, you're doing the water then milk trick, but your oatmeal still tastes flat, bland. It feels like something's missing. You might try to fix it by piling on brown sugar, but the problem isn't a lack of sweetness. The problem is a lack of salt. Salt in oatmeal? It sounds weird, but we're not trying to make it taste salty. Salt is a flavor enhancer. Just like a pinch of salt makes a chocolate chip cookie taste better, it's absolutely critical in oatmeal. When you add a pinch of salt while cooking, it actually suppresses bitterness and amps up all the other flavors. It brings out the nutty, earthy taste of the oats themselves, flavors you're completely missing otherwise. It makes any fruit or syrup you add later taste more vibrant. The key is when you add it. Don't just sprinkle it on top at the end. Add a small pinch to the liquid as it's coming to a boil, right as you add the oats. How much? A tiny pinch is enough for a single serving. We're talking less than 1/8 of a teaspoon. The goal isn't to taste the salt, it's to notice its absence if it's not there. Number 4, high heat. High heat is the enemy of good oatmeal. It scorches the bottom of the pot before the oats on top even have a chance to cook. You end up with a textural nightmare, part burnt, part soupy, and totally unpleasant. Plus, boiling it like crazy releases way too much starch all at once, which is how you get that thick, gummy wallpaper paste. The secret is to go low and slow. Bring your liquid to a simmer over medium heat, then add your oats and immediately turn the heat down to low. You're looking for a gentle, lazy simmer, just a bubble breaking the surface every second or two. This gives the oats time to absorb the liquid evenly and slowly release their starches, which is what builds that perfect creamy, velvety texture. For rolled oats, this might take 5 to 10 minutes. For steel cut, it could be 20 to 30. That time is an investment in a much better breakfast. Number 5, stirring wrong. Believe it or not, how you stir your oatmeal can make or break it. Most people either stir way too much or not nearly enough, and both lead to disaster. First, the over-stirrers. If you're stirring constantly like you're whipping up a storm, you're making glue. Stirring helps release starch, which is good for creaminess. But too much stirring releases a flood of starch molecules that tangle together, creating a thick, gummy, wallpaper paste mess. You're literally beating the texture right out of it. On the flip side, there are the under-stirrers. If you just set it and forget it, you're going to have a bad time. The oats on the bottom will scorch, making everything taste burnt, and you'll get lumps of dry, uncooked oats. It's the worst of both worlds. So, what's the magic technique? Strategic, occasional, gentle stirring. After you add your oats to the simmering liquid, give them one good stir. Then, let them be for a minute or two. Come back. Give it another slow, gentle stir, scraping the bottom. Repeat that every couple of minutes. This prevents burning and releases just enough starch to get you that perfect creaminess without turning it into glue. If you've ever had your microwave explode with oatmeal, or ended up with a bowl of something you could patch a wall with, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what your biggest oatmeal frustration is. And if you're ready to put these breakfast crimes behind you for good, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss what we tackle next. Number 6, microwave mayhem. Microwave. It promises a fast, easy breakfast, but with oatmeal, it often delivers one of the most annoying cleanup jobs. The oatmeal volcano. As the oats cook, they release starch, which thickens the water into a gel. At the same time, the boiling water creates steam bubbles that get trapped under that gel. The pressure builds and builds until boom. It has nowhere to go but up and out in a sudden surge. So, how do you stop it? Use a much bigger bowl than you think you need. Seriously. For a half cup of dry oats, use a bowl that can hold at least 3 or 4 cups of liquid. Second, turn down the power. Most microwaves default to high, which is too aggressive. Drop it to 50% or 70% power. It'll cook more gently, and the bubbles won't get so trapped. Third, don't just set it and forget it. Cook in shorter bursts. Microwave for 90 seconds, then take it out and stir to release the steam. Then continue in 30-second intervals, stirring in between until it's done. Finally, a pro tip. Soak your oats for just 10 minutes in the liquid before you even turn the microwave on. This pre-hydrates them so they cook more calmly and creamier. Combine these strategies and you can finally put an end to the oatmeal volcano for good. Number 7, oat selection. Walking down the cereal aisle is surprisingly confusing. You've got steel cut, rolled, old-fashioned, quick, and instant. They all look like oats, but they are fundamentally different. Using the wrong one is a classic mistake that dictates your cooking time, texture, and even how long you'll feel full. Let's start with the least processed, steel-cut oats. These are whole oat groats chopped into pieces. They take the longest to cook, about 20-30 minutes, but the payoff is a fantastic chewy, nutty texture. They also have a lower glycemic index, around 42 to 53, meaning they give you sustained energy without a sugar crash. Next is the all-star, rolled oats, also called old-fashioned. These are steamed and rolled flat, so they cook much faster, usually in about 5 to 10 minutes. This is your classic creamy oatmeal, but it still has a nice, soft chew. They're the perfect middle ground, with a low glycemic index around 55. Finally, there are quick or instant oats. These are steamed longer and rolled even thinner to cook in as little as a minute. The trade-off for all that speed is texture. They can easily turn to mush. They also have a much higher glycemic index, often around 83, which can lead to a quicker energy spike and crash. So, the mistake isn't that one oat is bad. It's about using the right tool for the job. If you want a hearty, chewy breakfast, invest the time in steel cut. If you want a classic creamy bowl in under 10 minutes, grab the rolled oats. Know your oats, and choose the one for the breakfast you actually want. Number 8, toppings. You've done all the hard work. Your oatmeal is perfectly creamy. And now, the toppings. This is your chance to add flavor and texture, but it's also where one final mistake can happen, adding them at the wrong time. This can turn fresh fruit into mush and crunchy nuts into soggy disappointments. A lot of people throw fruit like berries or bananas in at the beginning of cooking. While that can work for something hearty like an apple, it's a disaster for delicate fruit. Berries will completely disintegrate, turning your oatmeal a weird color and leaving you with just a few sad floating skins. Bananas will turn into a mushy paste. Add delicate fruits like berries and bananas at the very end. You can stir them in right after you take the pot off the heat, or just pile them on top in the bowl. This way, they keep their shape, color, and fresh pop of flavor. The same idea applies to nuts and seeds. If you stir walnuts, almonds, or chia seeds in while the oatmeal is still simmering, they'll get waterlogged and lose all their crunch. Anything that's supposed to be crunchy should be added just before you eat. Sprinkle your nuts, seeds, or granola on top as the very last step. Pro tip: toast your nuts in a dry pan for a few minutes before adding them. It deepens their flavor and makes them even crunchier. So, you now have all the skills you need to conquer your breakfast. That creamy, delicious bowl is finally within your reach. Go make it happen. If this video has totally changed how you look at your breakfast bowl, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have so many more kitchen secrets to share. Thanks for watching, and happy cooking.